Can you hear the sound?
You could be
I sure can.
products in the world, but if you don't have the effective branding, marketing, and promotional tools for your products and services, then you're probably not getting the best results you need to reach your target audience. Allow QTV Multimedia to translate a more efficient process and to bring clarity to your current or future business. Take advantage of our low cost and proven creative opportunities. Email us at qtvmultimedia@gmail.com. That's qtvmultimedia@gmail.com. Or just simply click and leave us a direct message. And don't forget to leave your full contact information and please share.
Hey, happy Friday, QTV. We in the green room. Peace, greetings, peace, blessings, healing, and abundance. Happy Friday, family. Safe travels to and fro wherever you go. Most definitely. Real quick, got to give a shout out to our partners over at Project Keep Them Off the Streets, youth organization, for all your mentorship and positive reinforcement. Also, lawn and hauling services for clean outs, lawn care, local pickup and delivery. And let's give a shout out to Dr. Harper over at MOHS Ministries of the Holy Spirit, and you can find them also on Facebook. So shout out to you, and you rock, and you're all that, and I ain't taking it back, man. In the building, in the green room, man, we have a special guest, man. This good sister, Queen Sister, man. She has a lot going on. She's going to tell you all about it. We're going to catch up from the last time I believe I saw her. We're going to be talking about cuisine, culture, conversation, colored only cafe. She's gonna take us up through there. The Smithsonian Plantation Project. She's also Instagram group Glow Up. Connecting communities through the belly is what I read. You know what I'm saying? So joining us in the green room, she's a connector, writer, mother, leader. She says she loves to cook. She lived to serve and leaving a legacy that makes an impact is her passion. So right now, put your support, your love, put some emojis, some hand claps, some hearts, and all that good stuff, man, for our good sister, the Queen, Miss Courtney Omega. Happy Friday, sis. How you doing?
Yeah, I am very well. I'm very well, and I thank you for such a glowing introduction. Yes, as the brother put, I am live from the 404 from the Atlanta area. I am recently back in Atlanta. I have been back now a full year. So I'm so excited to be back in the A. I throw them up all the time.
Stand up, ATS, stand up.
Yeah, definitely a big shout out to my people from Miami that might be tuning in. I definitely spread this link far and wide. To my former constituents, as I was an elected official in Coconut Grove, Miami, Florida. Thank you for your support during my years during serving that term. And if you are here watching today, thank you so much for being a part of this Q and the Green Room audience. I thank you so much.
Hey, thank you for stopping by the QTV. Good to see you. Last we saw Six Flag Drive. You were at
that was my sister's event, Monica Delancey.
Right.
That is my blood sister.
Okay,
you know, I always have to qualify my statement when I tell people, because I'm a very loving person, and so I regard many people as my brother, many people as my sister, but Monica actually is my blood sister. We shared a womb and a room.
That's what's up, man. Sis always looking out for us on this side, so I know if she got something going on, we're gonna get that call. So shout out to Monica Delancey, and she know this door is open anytime she want to come through. She ain't gotta wait for the invite. She can just say, "Hey, we coming in."
We definitely need to have her, because she's very active with pushing. We have joined forces, so to speak, with pushing this awareness of what is happening with the mass evictions that are being rolled out right now. And so we have her booked on a couple of events next Saturday, including the event that I coordinated, which is the RISE Forum, and RISE stands for Renters Investing Stop Eviction. That will be at 1113 Irish Street, located at Beloved Community Church in the Pittsburgh area of the historic Pittsburgh area of
Slaughter over
Atlanta.
Slaughter.
Yes,
Reverend
that's,
Slaughter.
that's
Yeah.
it.
OG.
That's it. Absolutely. And I'm also very pleased to be the newest I'm leading the public relations. I'm directing public relations services as he transitions his show into the studio. And so, you know, we are, so we're having an exclusive studio space just for his new show, which is called The Situation. So make sure we'll have it launched this Monday coming up, October 18th. Make sure you absolutely tune in. So we got a lot of things going on.
Right. Big ups, man, to Slaughter, and I know we can always win with a team.
You can always win with a team. Yeah. I like that, brother. I might have to take that. I might have to use that because I'm a writer.
It's ours.
So I love it when you say like that. I love those nice written. Yeah, you can always win with a team. You can, exactly. And I love that. And it's true.
I seen there was a quote that said, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together.
Go together. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was from the movie, you know, it was called The Good Lie with what's her name? Gosh, now I'm drawing a blank. I can see her. But but she's the girl. She's always in everything. She was in Little Fires with our main queen, Kerry Washington. So but this movie was called The Good Lie. I love that movie, and that was the first time I ever saw that quote. And ever since then, I always see it pop up here and there. But that was the first time I ever saw it.
Well, somebody probably stole it. That's how I saw it. I can't recall if I saw the movie or not, but I know I did see the quote. Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's jump right into it. So, you are native of Florida?
I am. I was born in Daytona Beach, but I spent a big part of my adult life in Philadelphia. So I always say it like this: I was born in Daytona, but Philly raised me. Philly raised me. 215 all day. My ex-husband was That's it. My ex-husband was a professor and a lawyer, so we moved around quite a bit. So I've had the distinguished opportunity to actually live in a lot of different cities. Growing up, I remember because my family, Monica and I, every time someone went off to college, I'm the youngest of us. I'm the youngest of the five. I'm Rudy, y'all, with the booty. And we used to always go to different, every time somebody went off to college, we would go, we would travel. And I would always ask my mom, why don't we just move? And she always said that, I could do that when I was, in charge of my family, or when I had my own family, but moving 5 kids is expensive. And she always talked about that. So I think the universe was listening, the cosmos was listening, because literally, my children, by the time my children were born, we were married almost about 10 years by the time my children were born. And, we lived a different place every year. So I've lived all over. You say that, but I hate packing and I hate unpacking. And I'm OCD. So I have to unpack the house. I have to pack up the house. I have to do this. I can't just be, and I'm even ashamed to even admit I have still about 4 boxes that still never unpacked from Miami. And oh my gosh, I can't stand it.
Hey, but you're moving around and you have your family and your support system. So it's all good.
The support system always got to be God, though. I tell you that, because I've been divorced for 9 years now. And so the support system since then has not since then, has always been, but I have recognized it to be the one and only source that's needed for the support. When
what don't kill you will make you stronger.
You better believe that. But I tell you, I hate to have to test those boundaries.
Right. So let's talk about
I've lived some of everywhere. Atlanta, of course, Arizona, Charlotte. I love Charlotte. Charlotte had beautiful homes, beautiful land there. Of course, Daytona, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Little Havana was the last stop that we made before we, moved up here. Little Haiti, so I've definitely.
But where's all the souvenirs? You got to send.
TV some souvenirs. It's funny you say that, because I wasn't planning on. But look at that. You see that Coconut Grove?
Right. Okay,
That's
cool.
where I was that was where I held office. I was the youngest elected council member of the Coconut Grove Council.
And tell us about that position and what do you stand for? What were you voting for? And then some of the things you were against.
Absolutely. Well, okay, so Coconut Grove, if anybody knows about Miami, Florida, you know, the G word is very big. First of all, Miami, Florida is one of the top, I believe, 4 most expensive places to live. Miami. You know, one of the top most expensive places to live because the salaries earned and the disparity of what the cost of living is the greatest. So of course, the platform that I stood the heaviest on was housing and families. Parks, of course, were a big thing of mine. I'm a big recycle nut, so that was also, of course, climate was a big, environmental was a big thing, but the biggest was, of course, housing. And ironically enough, the first year that I was on the council, I actually lost my home. I lost my home. I suffered through an eviction. I was going through the process of trying to get my home that I was residing in declared a historical venue. And unfortunately, as soon as the word came down that I was not going to get that designation, immediately the property owners, because I refuse to call them landlords because they know lords of my land, but the property owners moved in. They saw weakness there, and they pushed to have me out. And it took about 2 years, but yes, I was evicted. I lost my home, and it was an incredibly humbling but absolutely life-changing experience.
I'm quite sure that was. So while you were serving on the council, however, is that one of the biggest? Is that the hot topic right now since the pandemic? The eviction.
Yeah. Absolutely. And the reason why, let me tell you why that's such a, thank you for asking that question, because I feel like you done softballed it to me. You done threw a nice soft pitch in so I could just slam it out the park. I thank you for that. I'm a big baseball fan too, y'all.
Right,
so,
okay.
Please understand that.
What's your team? Hold on, what's your team? What's your favorite team?
It's got to be the Braves. I'm here. But
all right.
The whole Marlins. I grew up loving the Marlins. You know, I go to a baseball game every year for my birthday. My birthday is in July. So if anybody ever gets some tickets and y'all don't want them, y'all know what to do. But I grew up loving the Twins, the Minnesota Twins, the Blue Jays, of course, the Phillies, the A's, the Indians. I grew up, you know, I'm a big fan of baseball in general. So,
okay, cool.
You know.
Cool. So
yeah, housing is the reason why this is so huge is because so when I was evicted from my home, I lost my home. It was the first time I had ever suffered an eviction. And I had both of my parents were social workers, had been social workers. My mother, of course, has transitioned from this realm. She's been gone for 25 years, but my father is still, of course, with us. And you know, I just remember not because with both of them being social workers, that wasn't something that I even heard. You know, they talked about my dad worked with juvenile correction, so he worked with youth and getting them, you know, prepared, whether they were going into whether they were going to be detained and going into like a correctional facility or whether they were going back into society. And my mother she managed a food stamp and resources office. I'd never heard this word eviction. So this is where I was, you know, like I said, having fulfilled my first year on the council. Housing had been my platform. I'm sorry, what'd you say?
No, somebody need to mute your phone, please.
Oh. And so I had served on my first year of the council, and housing had been a platform. And it was just like, you know, I was passionate about it because, you know, eventually I did want to own a home, and I loved the home that I was in. It was historical to me because of the cultural significance. It just did not pass the test of it wasn't old enough. And so and I still say if the community has supported me in my endeavor, if they had been there at those court proceedings with me, I definitely think we would have been able to get that home declared historical, but no one had the time to come down to the court hearings and that sort of thing. But at any rate, what I started to learn after I did my research was that, I honestly thought people that got evicted were people that were on drugs or people that were doing things illegal from their homes. I really didn't realize to the full extent of evictions and how they're used. And that was the first time where I realized that they're used quite politically. That was used to shut me up. That was used because had I been successful in getting that home declared historical, there would be no more rent coming from that home. And also I started to do what I call rent chase. I started to chase where does money go when you pay rent? What like, you ask a regular person, where do you think that money goes? And they'll tell you, well, it's supposed to go to, improving property, but I know it doesn't. So many people might be surprised to know that rent actually funds other people's evictions. And since 70% of people that rent are Black people, guess what? Every time you pay your rent, you're funding somebody else getting evicted. That's what you're doing. That's the bulk of where your money is going. The reason why, I can say that so assuredly and with so much certainty is because before I moved from Miami, I actually was the assistant for a project for a property developer, one of the biggest property developers in Miami. And I was the person that would go and draft what we call CBAs, and that's community benefit agreements. So I would go to the community and I would say, hey, what are some things that you need to have happen in order for you to be comfortable with this particular, development happening? I do think that we look entirely at gentrification the wrong way, because we always look at it from a standpoint of something happening to us, not for us. I think that if we were in more of these conversations, we can get, funding for these programs, because literally the property developers that I ended up working for, they funded my summer program. They funded my summer program when the churches wouldn't fund it. They funded my summer program when the schools wouldn't support it. But this property developer, I turned in, what the things were that we were working on with the type of development, anti-bullying, and martial arts. I turned in all of the program partners that I had, and they literally funded my summer program. So
Paul,
we have
for
to
a
stop
second,
looking at it in a bad way.
Paul, let me ask you this. So
Yes.
you said we were looking at the gentrification the wrong way, because that's all I've heard.
Of course.
So how should we? So what do you tell the people? I hear you now, but what do you tell the people how to look at it? Because when I hear it, they trying to move the Black people. They try, and it's
that's what
all
they say.
this.
And we can be quick to say that, but let's be very clear. When I say this, when I say we look at gentrification the wrong way, I think that we often look at it from a point of view of something happening to us, not something happening for us. But look at what property developers usually do. They usually come to the neighborhood and they get rid of, the houses that are abandoned. They get rid of they may refurbish them, and then, the market, they put a market rate value, and then everyone's mad. And they say, oh, we can't afford once they redo them. But those houses most of the time have set empty or set abandoned for years and years and years. And we all know, let's be honest, we all know that people trap in the houses. We know that, human trafficking happens in these houses. Prostituting happens into these houses for years. But when these developers come with the money to, eradicate that, and, it becomes that they're going to they're doing that to these homes, and these homes that should have value. For example, the same thing, like with my home, before I moved into my home in Miami, it had been empty for almost 2 years. And it was never reported that it was emptied, because the person who had lived there, she had a Section 8 voucher, and when Section 8, when people move, sometimes the money is still going to whoever the property manager is, right? And so they weren't coming to look at the property. And the woman's aunt was staying, on the back patio. So she wasn't going to report, hey, this is empty, because, we're able to use that for our advantage. And trust me, don't get me wrong, I am pro squat. I am a pro squat. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a pro squat I'm a pro squat person. I don't care what nobody says about, you can't be stealing people's property. Are you kidding me? The thousands of acres and property that was stolen from us, you gonna sit around and try to make me feel bad about squatting in somebody's property?
You have a point.
You ain't gonna make me feel bad about that at all.
Right.
Rent is rooted in racism. There was no such thing as rent before slavery ended. Please know it. And then 70%, like I said, of renters are African American. So if 70% of renters are African American, 70% of us rent. What does that mean when you see other properties and you see, people that in 70% of property managers are Caucasian? We are dealing with the exact same numbers of slavery.
It seems very systematic.
It's very systematic and very strategic to keep us indebted, because when you go into an apartment complex, what'd you say, brother?
I said, you're dropping some bombshells right now.
Come on. When you go into an apartment complex and you may see a mixed apartment complex. You see whites, you see blacks, you see Latinos, you see mixed people. The fact of the matter is that guess who's the people that are paying their rent, the people who's carrying that is mostly Black people. Like, we may be piecing it in and here and there, but the other demographics are not held to the fire. Black people are 4 times as likely to be evicted than any other demographic. Why is that? And of African Americans that are 4 times as likely, guess what? 2.5, almost 3 times as likely of those families are women-led families. Single families led by single Black mothers. That's who's being thrown out of these homes.
Shouts out to the women, man, the mothers. Shouts out to y'all. 2 hands salute.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
So these are some numbers that we've got to be aware of. So, and let's drop another one, because you said I'm on a roll with dropping these bombs. Let me drop another one, because we have, again, the RISE Forum coming up this Saturday. That's Renters Investing Stop Evictions. What does that mean? Multi-families living together, getting homes. I ain't talking about those tiny homes too. I'm gonna say it right here. F that rent and F them tiny homes. They always trying to paint up these damn slave cabins and tell y'all we should be excited to be getting in them. No, I want the big man. I want the big stuff.
Yeah,
the same stuff that y'all stole from us.
Yeah, Paul, F that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
F those tiny homes. FTH, those tiny homes, FTTH, and F that rent. We want the most. I don't want to be satisfied with no one bedroom cabin and fix it up real nice. I don't care if it is paid for. You can pay for the mansion the same way you'll pay for that.
And it seems like we're still dealing with the same dilemma that the lack of knowledge.
We are.
It's like we are still there that people don't notice, because even what you're saying, it's not brand new, but when you're saying seem like the multitude of people. So when we're talking about change, we really can't see the change because it's so sporadic and spread it out. There's only certain individuals are actually moving on what they know. They
come on.
You know what I'm saying? So you know better, you do better, but the majority, it's like, especially now, I'm not gonna get into it.
Brother,
I don't know what's wrong with people.
You're like me. I promise you, Monica and I, we have a debrief every day. We have one in the morning, we have one in the evening. We talk about what we're doing, what's going on through the day, what are some news stories, what's we compare notes. And this morning I was literally just telling Monica, I said, Monica, I'm so sick of it. Let me tell you, brother, and I'm not no shade or shame to anybody, but I said I'm tired of people just, stop hiding behind these lies. Stop it. They will say to me fully, they couldn't come to gather some resources that they said they needed, and then I'll go on their Instagram pages and they at somewhere, they smoking, they twerking. This is what you doing instead of grabbing resources. This is what we doing, and it blows my mind. And then, when I followed up with a couple of people, like I said, because we're getting prepared for this RISE forum, they said, oh, well, I just signed the lease, so I'm good. Let me tell you why you're not good. In the 20 years that I've worked in housing, my ex-husband, like I said, was a lawyer, okay? I've worked as an intake clerk, okay? Housing was my platform as an elected official, okay? And I worked for a property developer, okay? So that's over a span of 20 years. I have never seen not one lease that did not say a landlord or a property manager can terminate your lease and give you no explanation. They just have to give you a proper notice of at least 30 days. 30 days. Any lease. I've never seen not one not have that clause. So all of you people that think, I'm good.
They think they're winning, and they're not.
They think they're protected. But let me tell you why you're also not protected, because our relief money is running out, okay? Even though not even half of it has been used, and that's $30 million that was given to Georgia alone. Not even 20 of it has been used as of yet. So you still have opportunity there. But guess who's coming over to the state with 6.3 billion in their pocket?
Yeah.
So we got half of 30 million, but they got 6.3 billion.
Yeah. Somebody's getting moved out the way.
Somebody's got to get moved out. And it has always been us.
Make room.
Don't stop it with this foolishness. And too many times we get those calls. Monica can tell you, I can tell you, many people can tell you that work in housing. We get those calls, after, they can, is there any type of help? Because I'm being put out. But sis, when I told you, let's get into you a multifamily unit three months ago, nah, you good because you signed a lease. But now you need the help.
Yeah. Question. So where's the money going? One, because you said it's still money there, but it's running out. I've been seeing that also. And before we get into the next segment, because I'm seeing people are knowing and they're not doing, they're not taking heed or grabbing hold to the information. Briefly,
you know what happens?
What do you think that is?
Mm-hmm. You know what happens, unfortunately? Okay, so like I said, because I do this, y'all, this is not just something that I came up with when the pandemic happened. Literally, Monica and our grandmother was the mayor of Daytona Beach. Our parents were social workers. Like, this is life. This is legacy for us, like, honestly. And so I've been doing research, right? So estate sales is when they have like this, they have all of this property, and they take the names that's on the property, they take the names that's on the deeds, and if the people are not, they send out these little notices to them, but if they don't respond within a certain amount of days, they sell them off in an auction block, right? And so I saw this documentary once about estate sales and what happens with them. And there was this profound sister, and I would love to, when I think of her name, it'll come to me, I know it will. But she said, the reason why we may know, but we don't take advantage, because, brother, we aren't used to having those type of conversations. And so we may know that it's out there, but I tell you one thing that I always saw, people thought there's a catch. There's no way that we're so conditioned to, I'm just going to go to work, I'm going to do whatever I'm going to do to escape. When I get off of work, then I'm going to, get some fast food. I'm going to eat like shit. I'm going to go to bed, with somebody all alone. And then I'm just going to wake up tomorrow, pray that I get tomorrow, and do it again. Do it all over again. That's it. We're not having this conversation. We're not saying, hey man, like I was telling, like I live in a complex, and I was literally just talking to one other person that has taken advantage of the tenant landlord agreement that will pay, because when it first started out, they were only going to pay a certain portion of your not eviction, but of your rent, of your monthly fees, what have you. So, but once the eviction moratorium was running out and there was still all this money left, they started calling people up left and right. We'll pay the whole thing. We'll pay the whole thing. Not until they made that call did my apartment complex agree to it. All summer long, they kept telling them, no, we ain't gonna take a partial. We ain't gonna take a partial. We gonna move forward. We gonna move forward. And I'm like this. I'm like, well, God got me, because I ain't trying to figure out how I'm not gonna be the one that tries to figure out how I'm gonna pay y'all back some 9 months rent. But let me tell you, when I went to the dispossessory hearing, because we have to fill in the plea, even though everything was agreed to, you still have to go to this hearing to put in, the amount that was agreed to. There were so many people, brother, that they just moved as soon as they got the notice. That's what we're conditioned to do. We don't fight. They don't fight.
Yeah.
They ain't gonna fight.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have no money for court. You don't even know. You ain't got to pay for that. They ain't got to pay for that.
Yeah, they feel the threat. They feel the threat.
You know what was funny? I have a good friend. Shout out to Teresa if you're listening. But she's from Boston, and Teresa's Puerto Rican. She's from Boston, and we became really fast friends when she moved to Miami, and she was one of my biggest supporters when for not only getting my cafe started. She made an investment to get my cafe started, but she also supported me in my political endeavors. But we were laughing because she was like, because she was living in an apartment building, and she was like, everybody was getting these notices, and they were all kind of weirded out. And I was like, and me being from Philly, her being from Boston, I was like, oh, they got napkins. They've been serving napkins. That's what we call them, because you just put them, you like, oh, you see the date that you have to do the response, right, and you put stuff on top of them. You might, use it as a coaster, but you don't take it, you don't be like, oh my gosh, I gotta get out of here. Right. And that honestly is the way a lot of people lose that, because they know that they can just scare you with some word and you're gonna move out. You're not gonna contest nothing, because I was preparing to, as much as my it's a townhome, so as much as my property manager was contesting, I just felt like once I had my day in court, because I'm, you right, I'm right, you right, I'm right, and when I had my day in court, I'm just gonna tell the judge that you had $9,000 on the table and y'all was turning it down. So I was fully prepared to say that, but they ended up, finalizing the complete settlement. So I didn't have to, right, it didn't have to go to court. But too many of us, as soon as we get it, like you said, they feel that they feel threatened, they feel intimidated. How dare you be? When we built this shit, yeah. How dare you be intimidated?
What we were saying when we was younger, move your feet, lose your seat.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's what happens. And guess what? Because they know you will, because that follows you, because they know you will. You know how many people tell me that they moved out because the person said they wouldn't put the eviction on their record? Put it on their record. Put it on there.
They don't even wait. They're not even waiting for the process to take part.
They're not.
They just type up a letter, put it on the front porch, and it's oh my God, we gotta go. We gotta pack up.
And that's and let me tell you too, not for nothing, I know that a lot of shame comes with being evicted. And like I said, it's a humbling, but it's an incredibly humiliating process to have your items, to come home and see your items on the front. This is horrible. And that only happens to us. I call that, it's a psychological lynching. Yeah. It may not be a physical, but it's a psychological lynching. Beds. You know what is so bad for me? I'm gonna share this, and I usually don't share this too much, brother, but I'm gonna share this just to let people know that when I say it's real, it's real. So my property manager, when I was evicted, he didn't pay, property managers supposed to pay people to go in, they're supposed to pay people to move your items, but he didn't pay people to move the items. He paid people from the neighborhood. And one of the people that he paid was my ex-boyfriend. So my ex-boyfriend was moving my stuff out of my house. because I had gone over to start moving my items. So I was coming back from public storage. And I said, I couldn't believe it. And I said, how dirty is that? It reminded me of in during slavery, the way they would make the slaves beat each other. And I'm looking at this brother like, I didn't, we didn't have a bad breakup or nothing.
Right.
So how you just gonna let somebody pay you a couple of dollars and you gonna move my baby's beds out?
Right. Let's take a moment and shout out to some of our supporters that tuned in on Facebook. And Anna, how you doing? What's going on? Cherie, Peace Justice, man. What's going on? My brother need to talk to you, man, as soon as ASAP. I think I got a few things for you, sir. Good sister Courtney. With that being said, I'm trying to get you to bring out some of this Powerball. Since we have the people attention, they're going to see this. And I also want you to give them that information again for that event and location. But
absolutely,
what do we as a people, those that are twerking and TikToking and all this stuff going on, I'm like, how can you find time to play? I'm always saying, how do you find time to play? You know what I'm saying? But give us one or two pointers of what we need to be doing from your world.
Okay, first and foremost, you need to be contesting everything that comes in as far as the dispossessory. You need to take a look at your lease, because like I said, I don't like to give anybody bad information. And I tell people all the time, don't believe me, see it for yourself. Take a look at your lease, and if on your lease is your property manager can terminate your lease for any reason, as long as they give you proper notice, is on there. You need to be at Saturday's event, October 23rd. You need to be there.
You should put it in the chat too.
Absolutely, I definitely will. You need to be there, because because what you think is an excuse, what you think is a valid opposition, or you think that it is a valid that's protecting you,
because they say so.
It's not. So that's first and foremost what you need to do. You need to go and look over your lease and what you have, and you need to make sure that clause is there. And let me tell you something, if it is not there, it will be the first time in my 20 years of doing this type of work that I've ever seen an agreement that doesn't have it there. And if you do not have an agreement, if you have a word of mouth agreement, then you for sure need to be there on Saturday, October 23rd.
So you're saying, and I'm thinking about the people at this point, because they've heard so much information and still not moving, right?
Right.
Are you saying you have some information for them if they see it in the agreement to counter it, or
what yes? So okay, so if they, for any reason, you need to have your finances in, you need to have, I don't say your finances, because let me tell you, since I have moved into my townhome, I have not paid not 1 month of rent. I have not paid not 1 month, and I refuse. I say if somebody got to pay it, somebody got to pay it, but it ain't gonna be me.
Oh, you know, I have not paid. You know something.
I have not paid not one.
You know something.
Okay, let me tell you, and also too, if anybody wants to get up to that, get hip to that, or what have you, it's work, but it definitely, like I said, I've never paid. My children can tell you, anyone can tell you, and I don't have no roommates. You know, it's me, my 2 kids, and my 3 cats. I don't have no roommates, so I ain't got no man staying upstairs, and that's who paying it. No,
right. God is my source. Real quick, plug your social medias in right quick for those that logging on or jumping on and before they hop off.
Absolutely. Okay, so you can find me first and foremost on YouTube. That is my biggest platform. You can find me under Omega Courtney, which is just my name backwards. We are the Glow Nation there. So when you come over there to the Glow Nation, be prepared to glow up, not just level up. Okay, we just not talking about getting wasted, snatched, and getting some BBLs and getting some bundles. We're talking about leveling up with faith, finances, fitness, family, and fellowship. We are accountable over there. So come on over if you really want a true glow up, not just a level up, okay? And that is Omega Courtney on YouTube, on Instagram, which are my favorite social media. sites. You can find me under 2 profiles. You can find me under Colored Only Cafe. That is spelled how it sounds, Colored Only Cafe. But that Colored Only Cafe, it's not about who we serve, it's about what we serve. And that's plant-based cuisine and food that funds movement. Okay. And you can find me on Instagram under Group Glow Up. And last but not least, you can find me through the website, coloredonlycafe.com. You can email me through that website. That goes directly to me, and we can continue this conversation. We can get it popping. Like I said, I'm more so a person that is hands-on, boots on the ground, really in action. I'm not a talker, I'm a doer.
Oh man, with everything you're saying, it's like it sounds so concrete. And I see it. I'm like, let me reach out to this sister, man, and see what's going on. Yeah. So out of all those things you just mentioned, take one and tell us about it. So the Colored on the Cafe, talk to us. You got the mic. Talk to us.
Absolutely. Well, okay. So Colored on the Cafe is my baby. I really love what the opportunity that doing this service has provided for me. The reason why I do love it is because I love to cook. I always have, but I never saw myself as owning a restaurant. I've known for a long time that brick and mortars would definitely sink any type of finances you have. And so that just wasn't something that appealed to me. But what I started doing when I was actually my first year in office, to get my finances back in order, I started selling a pineapple-based lemonade called Grove Lemonade. And quickly it became one of the best sellers at the local farmers market. So when I decided that I was going to not go back to a 9-to-5, like I said, my friend Teresa, she invested in Colored Only Cafe, don't make me cry. And she, because I was partnering with someone with another business called Mahogany Grove, and she invested in me so I could go solo. And I've been doing it ever since.
Shout out to that supporter. Shout out to that, man.
Shout out to Teresa. Yes.
Really, Teresa.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. She believe in your girl, and she was my first client and my first investor.
We need more Teresa. We need more Teresas in the world.
We do. And like again, money where your mouth is, and putting boots on the ground and actually doing the work, not just talking about it, but being about it. And so Colored Only Cafe, it launched here in Atlanta on March 7th of last year. And I cannot believe, and I am humbled by the amount of support that I've been receiving for it. I'm not don't invite me to do your barbecues and your baby showers. I don't do that. Like I said, we're food that funds movements. So I edibly curate progressive events. So if we're trying to feed
look one more time for the people in the back. Say it one more time.
Edibly curate progressive events.
There we go.
So, we did claim Malcolm X Day, of course, at the core, located at 2857 Main Street on Malcolm X's birthday last year, which is May 10th, as you all know. And if y'all haven't, please fill out that petition. I did start a petition to get Malcolm X's birthday recognized as an international holiday. No person in our history has this honor, and I think that Malcolm X is absolutely worthy of it. You can just go to change.org and look up Claim Malcolm X Day worldwide, and that's Malcolm with 2 L's. Do the man right now, spell his name right.
Right.
And so we've done that. We've done Black August. We did Black August. We also, of course, like I said, work with Monica on anything that she has going on. We know it's going to be progressive.
Right.
So I always make sure that I support there. And I am very proud to be a part of the 7th annual Unity Festival coming up on Saturday, October 30th at Beloved Community Church also, which is the same place where, of course, we're having the Rise Forum upcoming Saturday, October 23rd. But Colored Only Cafe, you can always, and I do meal prep, so you can definitely still order a couple of meals. But like I said, you just don't expect me to be at every event, every party, and barbecue.
So this is a brick and mortar, or this is what?
This is a pop-up kitchen.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, this
And
is
then
a
tell us
pop-up.
how that works and when. And,
Okay.
yeah,
So, well, with the pop-up kitchen, it's just I bring all of my materials and just I need some access to some electricity. And I bring out the air fryer. This girl walks. I bring out the wok, the burners, and we do 3 menu items for your for the audience or for the guests.
Cool. So you all for
Yes.
hire.
Yes, yes, yes.
Cool. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So let's talk about the what's next? The group glow up.
The plantation.
Okay, let's go there.
Life on a plantation. So
Mhm.
in conjunction with the Rent is Racism movement, because you posed a great question, brother, when you said, well, what's next after, you realize that, you can't keep renting and, what's the next step? So the next step is, where are you going to live? How are you going to live? Okay. If you're like me, I refused when I got evicted to go into a homeless shelter. I refused. I said, you know what, whatever I got to do, if I got to listen, I had a friend named Scott. Scott stayed on a boat and Scott would give me his money so I could go to a hotel. But I tell you, I said, I would refuse. And it really hurt me that some of the same, because I also sat on the civilian investigative panel, which was an oversight board for law enforcement officers. So I had, police officers that were, pretty good colleagues of mine. And, the fact that some of them even suggested, that I take my family and stay into a shelter, I thought, this can't be right. This can't be right, because full well they wouldn't take their daughter there. They wouldn't tell their daughter to go to no homeless shelter. They wouldn't tell their wives' sisters, who they probably don't even like.
Ones.
Right. They're not going to tell them to go to no homeless shelter, but here they had no problem telling, because you know what? It's a level of expectation when it comes to Black people. No matter what your stature is, they think that you are used to a certain way of living, regardless, right? And so I refused, and I thank God for that. I had great constituents that band behind me, supported me. Derek Cole, got to give a big shout out to him. I know he would like to remain anonymous, but they were refurbishing a building in Overtown, and they allowed me to stay in one of the apartments that they were refurbishing. And I realized how important property was during my eviction and during this whole situation. And so I really pride myself on being able to grasp that message and not letting the fact that I got evicted just kind of, like I said, because a lot of people get evicted and they're very shamed. You never hear about their story, and then they go and they live somewhere else so that they don't have to, because it's a very humiliating reality, right? But I pride myself on learning I was supposed to learn from that situation, and it was about property. And so I said, if there's any place on this earth, if there's any people on this earth that should never have to worry about no property, because we done built all of this property.
They never gave it back.
Hello, it's us. It's us. And it's plantations.
Right.
So I was really spirit led to start looking into some plantation homes. And I'm very grateful to have found one that's right here in Georgia that is absolutely beautifully renovated. I'm currently trying to close on it. My final closing payment is a little over 100,000, but it's a beautiful property. It's a multi-million-dollar property. So just to have, be able to close on it with under 200,000 is a godsend, but I still am organizing those funds for that closing. Yes. So I can get those keys for sure. But the reason why also I think plantations are the way to go is because it will allow multiple families to live there at once. This is how we create villages from the plantations. And we are on farmable land. So we're talking about sustainability. We're talking about multi-family living. So we have the village organized, and we're talking about maintaining by using the resources as well as using the skill sets of the families that are there. So what we are is building literally our own private community, one plantation at a time.
Awesome. Just taking the fruit note. That's awesome. Man, that's a lot of powerful information. I'm hoping the people that are listening are going to see this, man. I hope they take notes and most definitely get on their good foot. And make sure you ladies and gentlemen contact the good sister, man. It seems like she have a lot of good information that I'm quite sure it works when applied. you know what I'm saying?
And that's the key. That's the key. You just said something right there. You just said a whole mouthful. When it's applied, because knowledge without, faith without works is dead. Knowledge not applied is futile. To know but to not do is worse than knowing. It's worse than knowing. So, and I love that quote by Malcolm X too, where he says, you can't mobilize a sleeping people. You have to wake them up first. But even better than that quote is the African proverb that you can't wake up a people pretending to be asleep. Stop pretending.
You see it, but you don't want to see it.
You see it. You don't want to. Stop pretending.
Right.
Stop pretending, because whether you're pretending or not, whether you realize it or not, that's just the only difference that's going to make is you being declared mental and being put into some type of treatment center, or you being put in a wing of that at a homeless shelter,
just
at a compound.
Just docile for no reason. Give the people, man, that's powerful. Thank you for stopping by the green room. Give the people, the adults, and I'm gonna ask you another question to say something to the youth too, but right now for the people that are going through these eviction process, I know you say to come to the event, but something positive for those that need some uplifting to be able to ponder and make the move. What can you tell them to hey, get up, get this information and get going? Give them something.
Well, I can. The only thing I can really offer people is, I say we are all examples of our experiences, right? I can just offer it to you. You look. I ain't living bad, and I've never paid rent. So
I'm calling you. I'm calling you tonight.
What did Diddy used to say? I haven't paid rent for 5 years. Let me tell you something that I also do when I go into jobs. Like I said, I haven't worked for someone other than myself in about 2 years. But when I was still in that arena and I would be applying for a job, I would first and foremost tell them how much my rent was. And I say, can this be covered in one check? If it can't be covered in one check, I don't take the job. You gonna figure out how you gonna get me paid if you want me to work here. That's your decision. And I turned down. I'm not saying that I always was. I've turned down some great jobs, but I tell you, the jobs that I did have, especially the property developer job, they paid my rent. I never saw rent. They would pay it. They would send over. The property manager had their company credit card, and every month they charged the credit card.
Wow. So and with the youth also,
yes,
experiencing these things, and for most of them, maybe not at the right age to lend a hand or help out. Give the youth something to better their tomorrow from what they're seeing. This is their experience as well.
That's such a thank you so much for once again, that's a great way to transition the conversation, because youth are very innocent in this process, and a lot of times our youth are the ones who miss out. Like I said, I was very fortunate that and again, just like even thinking about that process, I still tear up. And like I said, I've only faced one eviction, and it was, years ago. But I think about my babies, because when we were displaced from our community for about 3 months, and we used to have to take the train to the bus. My daughter was her first year at middle school. We was have to take the train to the bus, and then she would get on the bus to go to her middle school. She was in a magnet program, and my son was still at the elementary that was literally right up the street from where we used to live. And so sometimes when we were coming off the train, we would, it would be a pain because we would have to walk past the house that we used to live in, and that used to hurt me, so much. Sometimes, like I refused to go down that street.
Right.
We would go the street in front of it or the street in back of it, but I hated having to walk past that. And I know if I hated, I know how he felt.
Right.
But one thing that really blew my mind was at the end of the year, and I didn't even realize it because, like, again, we get so caught up in the process, we don't even realize what is coming up with the process. But at the end of the year, my son got the principal's honors award, and he never missed a day.
Right.
And when I tell you, I realized, I said, dang, we did that for 3 months, talking about getting up, having to be on that train by 6:15 a.m., getting up at 5 a.m.
Talking about perseverance.
Whereas we used to get up at 7 and walk right up the street and be there by 7:15, 7:30. And I said, wasn't that crazy that when we used to live right up the street, it was always an absence here and there. But during that season,
right,
there were no absences. There were no absences, and he was barely, I think he was only tardy twice. He was only tardy twice, but no absences.
Right.
I commend our youth because they, they need that consistency. And so it was him. And let me tell you, my son if we all getting ready, my son is the slowest one. But I said, it was something in him. He needed to make sure, he needed that consistency. He needed to make sure that he was always on time and always there. And he became a safety patrol the next year because of that attendance. Right. And so I commend our youth that go through it, to keep your head up, to keep resilient, okay, and to know that it's not about where you live, it's about how you live, okay. And you live up top. I always would tell my babies that, we were in Overtown. It was much different from our neighborhood in Coconut Grove. Mm-hmm. But one thing we did, we never dropped that head. Right. Never dropped that head. Head held high. We called trains, we called buses, we called lifts, Ubers, whatever we needed to do, but we got it done.
Right. We did a segment the other day on Peacock's page too, and we was telling the parents and the community that when you go through it, the kids are going through it too, and it is also a trauma. So I just wanted to be sure that parents understand that the kids see what's going on and they have feelings too. So don't just overlook that,
No.
So most definitely
that. And also too, what, not for nothing, brother, also what gets left behind a lot of times that people don't even realize, but pets, having that, and that's hard on children. That they had, we had a cat,
with that animal.
They had a dog, and it might have even been a neighborhood dog. It might not even been a dog to their house, but they might have been, that they might have been feeding that dog every, night or every week, or that cat. And now they don't have access to that furry friend anymore. So that's another project I have. But like I said, that's another day. But we do Protect Pets project, and for $40, I buy the big bags of food, and we feed, because I say that was somebody's pet. Right. I don't believe that, just stray animals. I believe that was somebody's pet, and people move away, and then they become community. So community pets is what I believe in. No stray dogs, no stray animals, but just community pets.
Right. So give us an outro of everything that you're doing and what you want people to support and all that good stuff, and your contact and all that good stuff. Plug it in and make sure you leave that cash out for those that would love to support and get behind you, good sister.
Thank you. First and foremost, again, I want to just thank my Lord and Savior. Without God, this is not possible. And I'm telling y'all on the real, you catch me 10 years ago, this wasn't how I was talking. This wasn't how I was talking. But I tell you something about a divorce. I've been divorced 9 years now, and that eviction, my heart was humble. You know, they say God will gracefully break you before, you know, he says the soft warning before a major. And I thank God that I got the soft. I got the soft warning. I feel like the eviction was a soft warning. I think if I wouldn't have taken heed to that and would have still been conducting myself and moving about in a different way. And like I said, I've never done a drug. I wasn't, you know, in and out, no relationship with no man or anything like that. But being evicted during the first year of my term on the council, what it did for me was it brought me eye level with the situation, because until that happened, I really thought there was no way I would ever get evicted. I was working a job where I was making almost $100,000 a year. It wasn't gonna be no eviction. What you mean?
Right.
But and that also let me know that if somebody wants you bad enough, they'll do whatever they got to do to move you out of the way. So never get too comfortable with being convenienced. Again, never get too comfortable with being convenienced. But you can find me again on Instagram, Colored Only Cafe. You can find me on Instagram with Group Glow Up. You can contact me personally at groupglowup@gmail.com. You can find me on YouTube. I glow live every Wednesday at 5. And starting this Monday, October 18th, I am leading public relations and production for the one and only Trap Pastor Dr. F. Keith Slaughter. And that is going to be coming live from the Situation Studio located at 1113 Irish Street in the historical Pittsburgh community of Atlanta. My Cash App is Glow Up Omega. Again, that is money sign Glow Up Omega. Right. And that is just GLOWUPOMEGA. If you can't find me there, it is Courtney Omega. And my website is coloredonlycafe.com. You can always go there to see what events I am edibly curating upcoming. We have Saturday, October 23rd, which of course is the RISE Forum. That is Renters Investing Stop Eviction. And that is this Saturday, October 23rd, located at 1113 Irish Street. And on Saturday, October 30th, you can find me at the 7th annual Unity Festival, also at the Beloved Community Church at 1113 Irish Street in the historic Pittsburgh area. So for right now, until we get this plantation closed on, I am all beloved.
That's it. And be sure we have a second to be sure to put all of the information either in the comment section or in the chat so that people
can. It's in the chat, but I'll put it in my Cash App, but everything else is in the chat.
Okay, cool. So once again, thank you, good sister Courtney Omega, man. We want to thank you for stopping by the green room. This is QTV, man. We had an awesome time. I love information. I love the deep conversation, especially if we could move our feet and we don't lose our seat and getting in some good trouble. That's what I've been hearing.
Good trouble. Good trouble. And let me tell you, squatting I ain't never gonna be offended. I ain't gonna look at you any type of way if you say, well, I've been squatting for a couple of months now. That's good, sis, brother. What's that address? What's that address?
Okay.
How is it going down? So any type of way we can support, we support, whether you need to get some food, whether you need to get plumbing, because a lot of times in those situations, we're left without some of those utilities because we're afraid of getting certain things connected in order to keep us off the grid. But we got some plumbers in our network. We have some electricians in our network. We got some people that can help make it work. If that is how you're living. Right on.
Good sister, do this. Do you have anything that you would like to share with the people from the heart, a joke or two? Take this second to give the people something that you would like to, or that you haven't said today.
Haven't said. Well, I've said so much. Jeez. Oh, I want to give a big shout out to my king, Perry Positive Thoughts, y'all. You know what? Thank you for saying that, because now this is really buzzing in my head. There is so much, y'all, online about just Black women and Black men coming at each other. Y'all, we got to stop this foolishness. I would want to do some cursing, but I'm trying to, because my man is also walking in the faith of God. So, I don't want to get no cursing going. But we have got to stop this BS because we're only suffering because of it. And your life can't be about just on a carousel of coochie being confused and distracted, y'all. We can't do it.
Period.
Let's settle down. Tomorrow, brother, marks my 7th year of abstaining. I have not had any sex in 7 years.
Amen.
It can be done. So that's another thing too,
What
y'all.
don't kill you can make you stronger.
Let's discipline our minds and discipline our bodies and watch those miracles manifest.
Right.
Watch those miracles manifest. We're not distracted, confused, and we're not involving ourselves in toxic situations that we know we have no business.
Right. And everything they see on TV TikTok, is not it's really not reality anyway.
It's not. And I'm on TikTok too, colored only Courtney. If you want to see some menus and see what I'm cooking up, you can follow me there as well. But I really enjoyed this. I enjoy talking. I enjoy sharing. I enjoy speaking. And anytime, you want to engage or want some information, please. But I definitely need everyone in the building that can get in the building. We are capping it at 50 just because of the making sure that we're being safe and we're being conscious. But if you need to get this information, I'm going to get it to you, whether you can come or not. I'm not the type of person that's going to withhold it. But again, if I'm going out of my way to get it to you, then gosh dang it, go, please use it. Don't be sitting around telling me that, you signing a lease and that's okay. Unless that lease is with your mom or your dad, and you're gonna go back to your room in your house. That's
no excuses. No excuses.
No excuses.
Hey,
that's what you won't find there October 23rd. October 23rd, you'll find some free food, good food. October 23rd, you'll find some good information. But on October 23rd, you will not find excuses.
Hey,
so don't come looking for it.
You guys lock it in, mark your calendars. She's giving you all the information you need to empower yourself and spread the wealth. Hey, you heard it right here on QTV. We're in the green room with the good sister, Courtney Omega. Omega, thank you for coming through, Miss Courtney. We love you over here. We're looking forward to patronizing with you in the near future. We got to catch up with you. This is QTV. Everybody take care of yourself and each other and all that good stuff. Till next time, happy Friday. Have a good weekend. Hey, if you can't take God, don't go. See y'all next time.
Thank you. I like that.
Y'all take care.
Can't take God, don't go.
The QTV Multimedia.
Check out QTV TV signing up. You're tuned in to QTV.
Watching QTV. I'm glad QTV. So checking in with QTV Multimedia. Yes, sir.
But this is QTV, you heard me? Yeah, all the way live in the ATL. All right.
QTV show.
I'm not a son, but I'm helping a child when inquiring minds. TV, multimedia. Let us have a vision to your brand. We can come up with a plan. Show you how to expand. Q Harvey is the man. In order to advance, you gotta take a chance. TV, multimedia.
Man, recording live right here, Boom Studio, man. I got QTV Multimedia.
What we gonna do right here is go back. Way back.
Hey, y'all have a safe weekend, and we out.